Gonna get Xbox onesies. Gonna get Xbox onesies.
I really do want to know if
Eric,
it has the footy at the
Eric,
bottom.
you know you're getting Xbox onesies, man, with the footies.
Yeah, man.
You know that's coming out.
I'll only get it if it has the footies and the little ass flap in the back.
And on that note, welcome to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. I'm your host, Enrique, a.k.a. The Aries Gamer. And as always, I'm joined by a wonderful panel of guests. I should say co-hosts and guests. Tonight we have a returning guest from last week's podcast, Bella Ryse from Real Game Media. Bella, good evening, or I should say good morning.
Yeah, it's still early morning. Well, it's late morning here. It's 11:20 a.m. in Australia. But hello, gentlemen. Hello, everybody listening. Thank you for having me back again. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, absolutely. The pleasure's ours. Pleasure's ours to have you back on the guru of gaming, or what it might call you, the guress of gaming, I think.
Neither.
Neither. Okay. we'll go with neither then. And as always, my co-host, we have B Money 101 from the Inner Circle podcast. B Money, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just trying to make it through this hectic schedule my kids have me on.
Yeah, they're getting ready to go back to school.
I wish that's all I had to do was go back to school.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, me too, right?
I couldn't wait to get out. Now I'm like, I'm supposed to go back.
Yeah. B Money, are you getting the onesies?
No onesies for me.
Are you sure?
I'm completely sure.
Oh my goodness! And without further ado, we have Eric Jackson, also from Real Game Media, who's our weekly co-host. Eric, what's going on, man?
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
Now, Eric, for those of you guys who don't know, Eric's actually broadcasting live from South Florida in his bayback.
Yup.
Hanging out with Rick Ross, drinking Moe.
No more yacht?
Yeah, what's up with the yacht?
Yeah, I know. I told Enrique the other day that we're prototyping the first ever Maybach yacht.
Yeah, we coming down to check that out, man.
Can you imagine if Eric really did have a yacht? Oh my gosh! I'm not gonna lie, Eric. I'd come down and visit you, man.
Yeah, I'd have
You all would, man.
Yeah.
We'd have to do a live podcast from his yacht.
That's right, man.
Yeah. The belligerent neutrals. And Mr. Megan John's actually going to join us. He's, believe it or not, he's actually broadcasting. Now, is it Nioh or Nioh?
I don't know. I guess it's so.
I've heard people call it both. But
I think the general consensus is Nioh.
yeah.
So it is Nioh.
People like Nioh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the beta just came out for that today. And so he was streaming that on Super Deformed Gamescast on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'll be checking it out later.
Yeah, he'll be joining us in a couple minutes. So,
Yeah, I want to hear his impressions on that.
What's that?
I want to hear his impressions on that because I know in the alpha he wasn't too fond of it. So
Yeah.
got to see what he thinks now.
It sounded like he was enjoying it, and there was some improvements. I don't remember. I was multitasking.
Right,
which, as Bella mentioned, is kind of difficult for me at times. But he was commenting on it, and there were some improvements that he mentioned. I don't remember, something to do with maybe the endurance system or something with your guy doesn't get as tired as he used to, or as quickly as he used to. So something like that. But I don't know, it looked pretty good from what I was seeing. So. I completely forgot that the beta was dropping today, so it's going to be another thing I download and try to play. So, on that note, speaking of games, let's talk about what we're all playing right now. So, we'll start with our guest, Bella. Bella, what are you playing right now?
Look, a lot of the same as last week. It hasn't really changed too much. I mean, Destiny is consuming all of, not all of my time, but the majority of my time on Xbox One, to the point where last night I think we started doing a raid at about, it might have been like 7 o'clock my time, and we were still going at 10:30, 11 because we had, a full strike team of 6, and then somebody would leave, and then we'd have to go to LFG and get another replacement, and then we'd get another segment through it, and it was just really painful, and we got down to the very last part of it. Anybody who hasn't done the Taken King Raid, block your ears now if you don't want to hear what the last part is. I'll give you 3, 2, 1. So we got down to Oryx, and so we went through it. And we nearly had it because we were doing the challenge mode, not just the standard mode, but the challenge mode of it on hard, which that's always fun. And just a tiniest little mistake just before we finished it sent us back to the beginning of it again.
Oh,
and then by
sucks.
that stage, one of the guys that joined us from LFG was in America, so for him it was like 5 a.m. in the morning. He's like, you know what, I'm done. So we didn't actually get to finish the raid off last night. Luckily, we have the checkpoint there, and we'll probably attack that again today. But it's always so gutting when you spend your entire night just going through this monotonous, repetitive, actually quite intensive raid to get right down to the end and fail, and then have people drop off and you can't finish it. So that was a little bit gutting, but that's all right. We'll clock that. We'll clock that tonight.
That's so gut-wrenching in Destiny when that shit happens. That drives me nuts. It hurts so bad.
It really does. It really does. And, I was actually the one with the lowest light on the team as well. So when you have other people with higher light than you making errors, you're like, come on, guys. Like, what's up with this?
Yeah, you can't be a higher light and, be, fucking it up for everyone else.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I made my own mistakes as well throughout it, but everybody does. You can't get through a raid without everybody dying at least once. So yeah, that's consuming the majority of my time on the Xbox One. The other game that I've been playing a fair bit of recently actually is that Providence Poker, which is a free-to-play. Has anyone else here tried that out?
I have not tried that out.
No.
Highly recommend it. Seriously, for a free-to-play, yeah, obviously microtransactions are really quite present, but you don't have to engage in them to be able to play and enjoy the game. And as far as graphic-wise goes, the options you have available to you, it's so anybody who played Full House Poker on the 360, one of the main drawing attractions to that was that you were actually able to sit around a table with your avatars, and you could talk in party chat or game chat, and there was, you could have all these little different motions you could do, flip your coins on the table and all that kind of stuff. And those little elements in the game is what made it one of the most popular poker games on current consoles at the time. So Providence Poker's really adopted a lot of that in, and they actually put you in these settings where you're like, am I sitting in the meeting room of Sons of Anarchy right now? I'm pretty sure I am. They create these different atmospheres where it's really quite enjoyable. So for anybody who hasn't played it, it's a small download. I think it's about 6 gigabytes. Highly recommend you just give it a go. So those are the two main things taking up my time on Xbox at the moment. On PlayStation, I'm still spending a lot of time with Resident Evil 5. Rocket League, unfortunately, I clocked Uncharted 4 last week, and I just have this, it's one of those things, right, when you play a game that is so amazing, that is just so well done, you get to the end of it, and you have this feeling in yourself of, well, how do I replace that experience now? How do I find something else that I'm going to be able to play that's going to keep me as captivated and as immersed and, almost busting to get home from work to get back on the controller again. So I'm at that position on PlayStation at the moment where I'm just trying to find, I guess, my groove again with a new game that I can really sink my teeth into. Outside of that, just the same old bits and pieces on the PC, Pokemon Go on mobile, and Borderlands 2 on my PS Vita.
Nice.
All right.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I gotta get back into Destiny. I know. Oh, look who's here! It's the London Gentleman.
Rack 'em up.
No.
Hey, John.
I think that's trademark. You can say that. I believe that's trademark. But John, what's up, man?
Trademarks are like bones; they're meant to be broken.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't we jump to John real quick? We were just talking about what games we're playing. You were actually just broadcasting Nioh.
I'm actually playing it right now. So while you will see me on camera, my face is here. My heart is somewhere.
His heart belongs to Nioh.
My heart belongs to Nioh tonight.
So I want to ask you a question real quick, man. And by the way, to you, cheers, 'cause I'm drinking a cold one as well. Are you buying an Xbox onesies?
That's a great question. It's a fantastic question. Well, no. No. Now, having said that, neither would I purchase PS4 booties, or PS4 underoos, or even like an NX banana hammock. I wouldn't get one of those either.
Is Nintendo making a banana hammock?
I think so.
Oh, they really need to. They really need to.
I think they are.
I heard they're designing
That's the true Wii U.
Yeah, little Pikachu banana hammock.
Yeah.
With Pikachu.
Yeah, that's not bad. They could call it the Pikachu. So yeah. As far as what I'm playing this week, well, I mean, the week just started, but so I spent I took the day off work today because I'm a huge nerd, and that's what I do whenever video games come out. I played about 6 straight hours of Deus Ex today, which I'm absolutely in love with.
Nice.
I'm a huge fan, and I was a huge fan of Human Revolution, and Mankind Divided. I said on Twitter earlier was exactly what I wanted it to be. And that's all I could really ask for. And some criticisms that have been levied against it were, it's just more Mankind, or it's just more, Mankind Evolved, or what was it? A Human Revolution. Jesus Christ, fucking, it's been a long day. Long day of playing video games. But people saying, it's just more Human Revolution. And I'm like, okay,
good,
great. Like that's
right.
That's amazing, outstanding, and I love it. My only criticism of the new Deus Ex is they still have not fixed that atrocious lip syncing. It's terrible. It's like watching a really bad dub of a Chinese movie where the actors are all speaking English. And he's like, it's like,
you want beef?
Well, yeah, no. It's like, what do you think about that? And the guy's like, I don't know. And I'm like,
I fucking represent.
But aside from that, it's just awesome. And I love the Deus Ex games, especially the new ones, because much like BioShock or Dishonored, this is one of those games that takes choice and gives it back to the player. And I always appreciate it when a game does that. There are literally 20 different ways to go about a task, and dozens of ways to reach your next objective. And apparently, I have not gotten my first boss fight yet, but apparently, unlike Human Revolution, and this was my biggest criticism of it, was, I don't know if you guys ever played Human Revolution, but the game had amazing stealth, and it was broken up by these horrendous boss fights that were basically a poor man's Metal Gear Solid squad.
Yeah.
You were forced to engage in combat with these bosses. And if you had been going for a hard stealth build the entire game, I mean, you were literally kind of shit out of luck. So what I've heard about the boss fights in this game is that there are non-lethal options for everything, which I thank you. That's exactly what this game needed. Sorry, I'm getting my ass kicked in Nioh right now. And speaking of Nioh, I was streaming. Oh my god. This is what happens when I'm on a podcast, not really paying attention to what I'm doing. I was streaming. I streamed about an hour of the Nioh beta earlier, and I had some significant criticisms of the alpha. I am something of a Souls purist. Anybody who knows me knows that.
You wouldn't say.
No, you wouldn't think it, but
I would never know that about you, Joe.
But I am a huge Souls.
I need to summon you.
Yeah, right. I'm always out for some jolly co-op, baby.
Yeah, I'm seriously. I'm seriously not even joking. I might have to summon you.
No, please. I mean, I'm all about it. Anytime you need it, I'll stop what I'm playing. You'll never have to convince me to play some Dark Souls. But right off the bat, so some of my least favorite things about the Nioh demo, I came away from it with very mixed impressions. One, there was this mechanic, and I talked about it on the live stream I was just doing, where in Dark Souls, when you run out of stamina, you just run out of stamina, and you run around, you wait for your stamina bar to refill. But in Nioh, in the alpha, when you ran out of stamina, no matter what you were doing, if you were in the middle of a group of enemies, you're just fighting one enemy, it didn't matter. You stopped, you put your hands on your knees, and you're like, oh, I'm tired, and I'm like, what? Come on, and I understand that it is very much a love letter to Souls, very obviously inspired by the Souls games, but having said that, I got the sense that mechanic was there for this whole purpose of we have to be even harder than Dark Souls. Like that's what's going to set us apart. We have to be harder than Dark Souls, and it felt like a very unnecessary and cheap way of upping the difficulty and unnecessarily punishing the player. The combat felt really floaty to me. I came away not incredibly impressed. But Team Ninja asked for feedback, and I guess one of the big sticking points for a lot of people was one. They were like, look, you're aping Souls, and there's nothing wrong with that. More Dark Souls is a good thing, but make the combat feel like we're playing a Dark Souls game. And also, most importantly, get rid of this ridiculous stamina mechanic. Please, get rid of it. And it appears that they listened. The stamina mechanic is gone, and as opposed to the alpha, I picked up a controller, and I'm playing it right now, and I feel like, from a control scheme perspective, like I'm playing a Dark Souls game. L1 is block. It's just, X is die. It's great. I love all the changes they made. It's far more intuitive. The combat has both speed and heft to it, which was missing, in my opinion, at least the heft part from the alpha. And that's kind of one of the defining characteristics of a Souls game, is that big, weighty combat. And that's here. It's here now, and I could not be happier. So my hype for this game has gone from nothing to like through the fucking roof. For Nioh. But that was a very long-winded explanation of what I'm doing this week.
So John.
Mm-hmm.
I assume the next day that you are going to end up with a black lung will be October 25th?
Well, that depends. What's coming out? And so
it's the Dark Souls 3 DLC, which is Ashes of Arendelle.
That's obvious. Yeah, no, that doesn't need to be said. Yeah, I mean, come on. So there's actually a few days where I'm going to be really sick. One is the Dark Souls DLC. Although, but here's the thing though, I'm such a Souls fanboy that I really getting my ass kicked by 4 dudes. I really wanted Skyrim remastered, right? I'm like, oh man, because I love Skyrim, and I was like, oh, this looks great. With the Dark Souls 3 coming out on October 25th and Skyrim coming out on 28th, my Skyrim plans have just had a wrench thrown into them, because there's no fucking way I'm passing up Souls anything for Skyrim. Sorry Skyrim, sorry Bethesda, but that's just not going to happen. So you guys will, on October 25th, I'll see you in a month.
Let me ask something, John. Would you buy Dark Souls 3 onesies?
Now that you might have them on.
Yes. Yes, I would actually. I would actually wear. I would wear a Dark Souls diaper if they had it.
Yeah,
that's how much I love.
That's a little.
And yeah. Although really,
Dark Soils.
Dark Soils.
Actually, what I really want to do is get some of those BGST diapers so I can shit in them all day. But that's too far, too much.
Yes.
So moving along.
Yeah, moving along. All right. So we have Dark. So October 25th, Dark Souls 3 DLC. That was leaked today.
Could not be happier.
Yeah. So let's go to B Money. B Money, what are you playing right now, man?
I've just been playing Rainbow Six, playing the Skull Ring DLC, new characters on both consoles. Then getting ready for Tekken 7, so I've been playing a lot of Tekken Tag with my boys and stuff like that. And then also getting ready for 2K17, so I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K16, getting ramped up for that. Basketball season is coming pretty soon, so. But that's really about it, man. Playing a little of everything here and there, but those are probably the 3 main games I've been playing.
You gonna be jumping on that Madden 17?
I was thinking about it. I didn't pick it up last year, and I haven't played it in a while, but I might give it a go. We'll see.
I'm done with Madden.
B Money. I'm every year I pick it up. All right, I'm gonna try it again this year, and I end up taking it back.
Yeah,
I just haven't had that love for Madden like I used to in the past. And
the thing is,
17 or the NBA 2K17 is definitely taken over.
Yeah. like the thing is that I had I purchased the code for EA Access, and I tried to put it in, and like the code wasn't working. So for like 3 days, I've been going back and forth with Microsoft, and EA, and Best Buy, like trying to get this code to work or whatever. Nobody can help me. So it's like, all right, I guess I'm not trying out Madden. So until I like actually play it, I probably won't pick it up.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, that sucks, man. You got to tweet Peter Moore, man. Tell him what's up.
Yeah. I wish it was that easy, man.
Wait, you met Phil and Aaron and all those guys at E3, right?
Yeah.
I see DJ Khaled knows him.
I heard Phil Spencer's a super cool dude.
Yes, he is.
He is. I actually got to chat with him a little bit when the what's that game that Ubisoft came out with? The Division beta came out. I got to hop in a party with him. He's really cool, really nice guy.
Yeah, you get that feeling from Phil, like definitely, man. You know.
Yeah, no, he's really cool. So Eric, what are you playing right now, man?
I'm not going to be anywhere near as eloquent as Bella and John, or as in depth, I should say. But but I've actually been going back and kind of mostly doing some backlog stuff. But got the itch to jump back into Dishonored. You know, with Dishonored 2 coming soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like I'd done the good playthrough, you know, a few years ago, but I never went back and did the bad playthrough. So I'm just going through now and just wrecking everybody. And the funny thing about games that are built on being stealthy, when you decide to go through and just destroy, it's so much easier. You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know,
it's a lot more cathartic as well.
Yeah. So someone spots me, I'm like, I don't give a fuck, dead. You know, just shooting and stabbing. But Dishonored's so good, man. Like I recommend that to anyone.
Yep.
So I definitely can't wait for Dishonored 2. Still rocking on Doom. And actually, with Mafia 3 coming, I've never been like really big into the Mafia series, but Mafia 3 looks really good. And I've had Mafia 2 for a while, so I've kind of been going back and playing that. And it's a bit rough, but I'm working through it. You know, it's just one of those games that every now and again I just kind of jump into, just kind of do the story. And I also played a little bit. Well, actually not a little bit. Actually, did the 1,000 points on it. But Game of the Year, Ben-Hur.
Oh, nice.
Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
What did you say? You're playing a game called Ben-Hur?
No, Ben-Hur. There's a game. Well, hold on. There's a game about Ben-Hur.
Yeah,
yes, there is. I thought you said
on Xbox One.
I thought you said Ben-Hur. Excuse me.
Of course, you thought that's what he said. Of course.
I'll play that game.
It comes with an Xbox One onesie.
It's a PSVR launch title.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
Oh
man.
my god.
It kind of looks like it could be, right?
Comes with the
Savage.
comes with the Adam Boys banana hammock.
Ooh, let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not go there.
That is not a hammock I want to lay in.
No, I wouldn't matter. Yeah. So,
And moving along.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Barbarians.
I was just picturing the Ultimate Warrior thing again in my mind. I don't know why. Go ahead, Derek. I'm sorry.
We can't go there. We can't go
You guys
there.
need to grow up.
We're a neutral podcast, right?
I'm telling you, I was at Best Buy. I thought the Warrior music was going to kick on when I bought a different version of Deus Ex today. But go ahead, Eric.
No.
All these build jabs tonight.
So I went back and also finished work through The Wolf Among Us. You know, like I said, just going back and cleaning up a lot of, some backlog stuff that I never got
You like
into.
that? I never played that, and people keep telling me it's one of the best Telltale games.
I would say, to me, it is the best Telltale game that they've done, because the story of Fables in general is just good anyway, and we all know these characters. I mean, it's still the shittiest engine in the world. It has all the weirdest hiccups, and you just it moves weird, but you just kind of look past all that because the stories are really cool. But Wolf Among Us is really good, so I definitely recommend it. And other than that, it's been rocking out. I actually went back to Darksiders 2, Definitive Edition.
Oh, I couldn't get into it.
Now, yeah, you know what? I like the first one. Love the first one, I should say. Darksiders 2 isn't grabbing me as much as the first one.
I was like, this is a remaster of a PS3 game, and there is no excuse why this is not at 60 frames a second. Like I'm not a
That's a
I'm not a,
good
I'm not a graphics whore by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I love Nidhogg, but I was like, man, like this is one of the yeah. I mean, it kind of like Dishonored. I was very disappointed that Dishonored Remastered was not 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
But also, like, you know, Darksiders 2 is one of those games where I was like, why? Like, who's asking for a Darksiders 2 remaster? Why not just do Darksiders 3?
Well, yeah, that's definitely, and maybe that could still happen, but
that's just me. I heard it might. I mean, I've heard it might.
It's Sean. It's like when you go to the, you go to the restaurant, you order steak dinner, and then the waiter comes out and says, "Why would you want to
stop it? Stop it!
There's a theme tonight. It's like there's a theme tonight. I don't know what's happening. I'll do my impression, but
see, the thing about games and remasters and remakes, and this is one of the things that I absolutely adore about the gaming community, is there are a lot of games where we would think of, particularly in franchise, it's like, why would you want that remastered? Why would you not want the next installment in that franchise? But there's always going to be that core demographic that just loved the shit out of that one particular iteration in that franchise. And unless you're in that core demographic, then you're always going to be sitting there thinking, well, why on earth would you want that? Like, why wouldn't you want to play something new? Yeah. It's like people who were screaming for a backwards compatible version of Black Ops 2 on Xbox One, and other people are saying, why would you want that? Why wouldn't you want to play the new one? You need to be somebody who was absolutely in love with that particular game or that particular entry in a franchise to really understand why you would want it.
Yeah, everybody has their one, whether they...
Yeah, like Mass Effect. I mean, that's like the one franchise I see a lot of people chime in and say they want remastered.
Right. Oh, what's happening now? I'm sure you saw that EA was like, well,
Yeah.
EA, I never bought into the fact that they're like, well, we don't really want to focus on remasters. I'm like, no, you assholes love money.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, look,
you gotta believe they saw the blip that Black Ops 3 had. And so they're probably, wait a minute, this might work for us, Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen, and we're seeing it happen more and more frequently these days, is that there are a lot of these games that we know are going to be remastered. We don't need them to come out and tell us it's going to happen, because it is. They're just cash cows. But the reason that they're able to make so much money off them is they're now being smart from a marketing point of view and holding them back as pre-order bonuses for the next iteration in the franchise.
Yeah.
And that's what will happen with Mass Effect. I guarantee you. We will probably have maybe one more added to back compat between now and then, maybe, but I'm pretty sure that what they're really going to be aiming for is pushing it down our throat through a pre-order bonus, because it just makes 100% sense.
I'm sure there's going to be a collection.
Yeah, I think they go collection route. It's got to, if they do it, it'll be this holiday, if not top of the year. I don't think Mass Effect is going to release in the first quarter of next year.
Yeah,
that was speculation that it was going to release in March, though. But you don't think it's going to be early 2017?
Well, their wording made it sound like it was going to be early 2017, but their wording means nothing. It all comes down to when the game's going to be ready, and they know well enough not to release Andromeda without it being as polished as they can get it, because they're going to get pulled apart from it no matter what they do. No matter how perfect it is when it comes out, they're still going to get chastised. So they know well enough that if they have to push it back, they might have to listen to people whinge and bitch and moan for 2 or 3 weeks on Twitter, and then people are going to forget about it and going back to playing the next game that's released and whinging and bitching about the next thing that's getting delayed.
Because you would never know gaming is about fun, because all people do is bitch.
The gaming community
made the gaming community sound like we just bitch all the time.
Well, no, it's not even that. The game, and you know what? I'm going to use an anecdote from NeoGAF that happened recently. The gaming community is very cyclical in their attitudes, and what I mean by that is, for example, there's a lot of people right now saying, "Oh man, Final Fantasy 15 looks like trash. Look at these screenshots. Blah blah blah. It looks terrible." But they were saying the same thing about the console versions of The Witcher 3. When those screens, when actual screen caps started coming in, they were like, "Oh, it's all compressed, and look at these shitty textures, and oh, I knew it was going to be fucked up. It was too good to be true." And the game came out and it looked fucking beautiful. I mean, shitty combat aside, The Witcher 3 is a beautiful fucking game.
Best game of the console generation.
No. And the same thing is going to happen. I am certain that is a very worthy choice right there. It's still Dark Souls 3. until Bloodborne 2 comes out. But the same thing's going to happen, in my opinion, with Final Fantasy 15. Everybody's hemming and hawing about, oh, these it looks like crap. It's going to come out. It's going to look fine. It's going to look fine. The exact same thing happens every summer with the NPDs. Right now on NeoGAF, the big thing is, this irritates me to no end. People are saying, oh, console sales are way down over last July, and blah 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 blah. Console gaming is dying. It happens every summer. Nobody wants to understand that these are the slow months.
Is this really an actual conversation that goes on in NeoGAF? I mean,
yes, it is.
This is mind-blowing to me.
It's an actual conversation that goes on anywhere where gamers corrugate in.
It actually is. Every summer on NeoGAF, the death of consoles.
But it's a slow time of year, though. It's
not only that, but there have been no major releases at all this July. So of course sales are going to be down.
Yeah.
Plus the Xbox One Slim came out in August, which affected sales in July, and everybody knows the Nioh and the PS4. So I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, this is what happens 3 years in when there's no price drop and there's no games being released in July, and there are new iterations of that console coming in a month or two. So yeah, nobody should be surprised by it. But what's going to happen is that November sales are going to be way up. I mean, the PS4 sold 1.7 million last November, and the Xbox One sold 1.4. That's fucking insane. That's fucking insane. It's going to happen again this November, and consoles will be alive and well until next summer, when they're dead again.
When they're dead again, exactly.
And it's just irritating. But that's what I mean when I say that the gaming community is highly cyclical. It's a cycle.
Perhaps some lack common sense.
I don't even think it's that they lack common sense. I think that they are aware of all of these different variables, like the fact that we are in one of the slowest release seasons of the year right now. I don't think it's even that. I think it's more of a general group mentality, and you see it particularly on places like Twitter. If there is a supposed leader in the community that has one particular viewpoint, then they're going to have all of these sheep that'll flock behind them and follow that viewpoint, and then that ends up spreading a bit. So I think it's more of I'm behind a keyboard or I'm behind my phone, and I can say anything I want to say and back up whoever I have as a self-proclaimed leader on my particular preferred social media. And so that is where a lot of these mentalities come from, and it does seem to, depending on the circles that you run in, will depend on the kind of people that you are exposed to their opinions on. So, I mean, each of us are going to have a different experience when it comes to NeoGAF, when it comes to Twitter, when it comes to Facebook. It all depends on the people who we surround ourselves with, that are on our friends list, that we follow, and the forums that we go into. We're going to see different viewpoints and different opinions, but yeah, it really does seem to be a pack mentality issue, and outside of that, when you remove yourself from that pack's opinion, you see there's just so many people out there actually just discussing how much they love games.
I call them Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Riding around on virtual dirt bikes looking for fights to pick.
Sweep the leg.
You know what really frustrates me about the whole sales thing is, consoles are dying every summer, is the fact that combined sales of the PS4 and the Xbox One are 41% higher than they were over the same time frame of the previous generation. So cram it up your ass. Consoles are fine. Video games are fine. Just that's why I don't post on NeoGAF a lot anymore.
Yeah, but the problem is everyone's like, but you don't like my console, so you're an asshole.
Yeah, well, it's like that interview that was done by Engadget, I think it was, with Aaron Greenberg earlier this week.
Yes.
Where the general vibe coming out of the way that they reported on it was that they were trying to suggest that the wording that Aaron was using was saying that this is the end of them making consoles. Now, when you read the actual question that he was asked and the actual response that he was given, and going back from that, there's the problem that people don't actually friggin' read.
Yeah, he was talking about console generations.
And you read the response, that's right. And they're talking about trying to make things more of a focus on this play anywhere on any Windows 10 device thing, as opposed to him actually making a statement about it being the end of consoles. It's not an end of consoles, it's an end of focusing just on consoles.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, like you guys said, people don't read, and people take that pack mentality. It's crazy, John. You just brought up that number of 40 being, the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, being up 40%, and it's people need to take a look at those numbers, but they don't, and that's why I made that common sense reference, because people aren't going to Google and Googling this information. It's like, they'd rather just listen to someone be like, blah, 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 and then, and that's their opinion on things. So.
But do we really need to look at numbers at all? Like, I really wish that it just wasn't a thing. I wish MPDs weren't a thing. I wish this focus on how many consoles have and haven't been sold. Like, it doesn't matter if more PlayStations have been sold than more Xboxes.
Because it turns into ammunition. It's ammunition for
exactly, and it just fuels the console wars. And what matters is, are you happy with your console choice? Are you happy with the games you're playing? Are you getting a value for money experience out of the time and money you're investing into your gaming platform? Then it doesn't matter whether 3 of them sold or 3 million of them sold. Enjoy what you enjoy.
Right, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to you.
That's some crazy bullshit.
It doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you.
Well, clearly, if it does affect some people because it
affects them.
They're so emotionally involved. It's like,
and I would say with that, seek help. Find a therapist. Find out what the hell else is going on wrong in your life. That is
But it's become a hobby to these people, right? It's become almost a sport, almost a video game in itself, engaging in these debates and being a part of these team versus team things on all the different social medias. It's almost like you are a member of, it's like the Barmy Army that follows around the English cricket team and stuff like that. Like it's almost like that.
Right.
Bella dropping knowledge bombs right now on the podcast.
Yeah, you know what?
I know me some cricket.
and Bella, we've heard people mention, and make reference to it being like a sporting event. It's like rooting for your favorite sports team. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true to an extent. I said, but the difference is when you go to an arena and you talk shit, someone can punch you in the face.
Well, that's right. And then when you go home from the game's over, and you go home and you have your dinner and you go to bed and you wake up and you watch the Formula 1 the following day, or whatever it might be. You don't spend your entire trip home on Twitter going off at other people who didn't happen to be on the winning team, or it's just
that depends on the team.
It's a whole other podcast on its own, that subject matter.
What's F1 racing?
I call them thumb thugs. You just
got terms for everything, don't you?
Oh yeah, because in reality, what they really are.
Vaguely sexual. I'm not sure I like that.
Hey, be money. He a little 1738 this evening for Mr. Eric Jackson.
No, because I look at it like this: what you say, what you can say behind a keyboard, would you say that to somebody on the grocery aisle? And you wouldn't, because in reality, most of these dudes are probably they're as soft as a mosquito pissing on cotton.
Your cabbage sucks.
So we all know that. We all understand that. We're all grown adults here, and we understand how our actions actually do affect other people, whether they be digital or virtual actions. Right. There's a big difference between us as adults who want to actually put a positive influence out into the universe to those who just feel like it's not their responsibility and they're behind a keyboard and nobody knows who they are. They're behind a fake persona and they're completely anonymous. And so we're never going to see the end of that, unfortunately. Like, we could bitch until we're black and blue about how pathetic it is and grow up and get a hobby and all this kind of stuff. And it wouldn't matter. It's not going to make a difference to the majority of people. Maybe we might be able to get through to one person here and there. And then, yes, of course, that'll make all of our whinging and whining worth the while. But it is what it is, and we just have to learn how to mitigate it and do what we're doing right now, which is trying to put that positive influence into the community and make sure that gamers see that there are people who actually enjoy playing video games.
And get labeled neutral for it.
The inglorious neutrals.
I never thought. No, seriously, I know we'll move on, but I never thought the term "Hey, homie, what's that you claim" would actually apply to consoles. Hey, dog, what's that you claim?
Oh, man.
It's like you gotta be careful what colors you're wearing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Don't be coming.
Green or blue, man.
Don't go wearing that black and blue to that green and white neighborhood, man.
Now, Enrique, you've almost managed to get away without telling us what you're playing this week.
I know. So I went back to Fallout 4. Oh, so I finally beat Wolfenstein New Order.
Nice.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, I'm late to the show, but I finally beat it. What a great game. The ending was a little disappointing for me, but...
How dare you, sir?
You know, there's a sequel coming.
Yeah, well, there is, but you know what? It left me wanting more. Like, I'm ready for the next one now.
Right.
So, but great game. It made me think like I got to go play Doom now.
Yeah, I got to get back on Doom.
Yeah.
I remember like Wolfenstein. I loved Wolfenstein because it took what was essentially an angry pixelated head from Castle Wolfenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And gave him a story and made him a character, and what I especially loved about it, and some people may say, "Oh, it's stupid," but I actually loved it because it reminded me of a cheesy movie. Is the fact that 1 minute, you've got B.J. Blazkowicz, he's like, he's like waxing poetic about war, he's like count to four.
Yeah, count to four.
Count to four. Exhale. He's talking about I see visions, but it's not really me. He's got that faraway stare, but then he's like double fisting machine guns, running into combat, and I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love it.
Dude,
he's like, now that I've talked on a personal and emotional level about my feelings on war and how much I just want to live a life of peace, I'm gonna pick up these 2 assault rifles, kick in this door, and murder every goddamn living being I see. Like I'm just
but
like,
it was perfect though for him though.
I just woke up in this hospital. I'm about to stab the shit out of
that's the thing. I've been comatose for 16 years. Yeah. Technically, my entire body shouldn't operate to my brain's command. You know what? It's going to because America.
Yeah, I'm gonna go kill some Nazis.
Like he was sitting 16 years in that chair, and like the worst he had was he was like, "Oh, I feel real weird," and I'm like,
but it's so video game. That game is so video game.
Yeah, like I imagine that Nazi he grabbed. I imagine his last because you see a guy in a wheelchair, he's just sitting there staring off into space, and you come up and you're about to kill the guy, and then he hops up and like cuts your throat open, and there's no fucking problem. And I like to imagine the last thing that went through that Nazi's head was no fucking way.
Yeah, right? Like, no,
The last thing that Nazi thought was, oh, bullshit.
Yeah. Really?
Oh, bullshit on that one.
Yeah, that Nazi was like, oh, that's fucking garbage. And
just my luck. But you know what? That's to me was because I remember playing the first Castle Wolfenstein, the pixelated version, and on PC back in the 90s, and so to see him like have this dialogue and actually have like what I thought was his dialogue was perfect for him, I thought, and I thought that what I thought was interesting is they gave him like a love interest in the game.
Anya.
Yeah, but of course he's like railing her a couple scenes in the game. I'm like,
I was like, she's like, William, I have to tell you something. I thought they were gonna go like a sweet scene in the closet or whatever, and then he's like fucking like, he's like pumping her like a storm drain, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was like, and he was just like, oh yeah, take it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And the characters are like, oh, are they at it again? The one guy's mad because like you could hear from the outside like the walls are shaking.
Right.
Can you imagine being 60 years old and like you're playing that and like that right at that perfect moment your mom walks in and she's like, what the fuck are you playing? What is it? And I'm like, and I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's real life. People bone every day. But I was
but dude, he was like,
no, dude, no. What he was doing is he was going at it like that was the last time.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he could have been. Yeah,
I can appreciate that. Like, I was just like, damn, dude. Like,
I thought at one point he even said to her like, I hope it's like this every time or something. Like,
and the thing is like any other woman would have been like, no. I imagine most women are like, no, not every time.
Yeah, but it's wartime though. They're like like you said, it could have been like the last time they were with each other.
That's true. But I mean, like for me, it was just like I was like, oh, she's gonna give him a kiss.
That's what I was expecting.
I'm like, and the thing is like, my wife plays games. She's upstairs playing Deus Ex right now. But like I saw that scene, I was like,
nothing.
Honey, where you at? You're not down here. Okay, good. Yeah. I was like, Jesus.
No, but you're right though, John. That scene, like I thought there was gonna be like this sentimental scene, and like, hey, be careful.
Instead he's banging her like a Salvation Army.
You know what's funny? Like, it doesn't go that way for Corvo in Dishonored. Like, he actually hits on the chick that he's like, is in the bathtub.
And she's like, "Get out!" And like,
She's
of
like-
course, like me being me, I just sat there and looked until she was
Yeah.
like, "Ew."
She's like,
Yeah.
and he's like, would you like some company? She's like, well, Corvo, there's like death and rats and killing and going on. It really kind of kills the mood. You're like, damn, I got rejected.
I know, right? And she was like, plus you never take that creepy mask off during.
Yeah.
Take the mask off.
Poor Corvo.
Yeah, so wrapped up Wolfenstein and started playing a Fallout 4 again. I picked up Bastion and Transistor on that
Excellent
Good
choice.
man,
Yes.
good man.
Told you. I told you.
$8. Holy
Hang on, before you move past, I started playing Fallout 4 again. Whereabouts are you at? What level?
I'm like halfway through the game. I'm actually the part where you're going to the Institute, or you're getting ready to go to the Institute.
Oh, did you say the Institute?
The Institute.
How much have you had to drink tonight? You said the Institute.
Did I? No, I said Institute.
You just did it again.
No, I
Institute.
said the Institute.
Now you said the Institute.
You know what, man? Look, here's the.
The Institute.
No, I said
You sound
Institute.
like you sound like some freaking. You sound like some mobster. Yo, man, I'm going to the Institute. To the Institute.
Why don't we ask everyone in the live chat what I said? If somebody could just chime in.
You sound like you're from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Institute. Let's head to the Institute, motherfucker.
All of a sudden, he's Italian.
Yeah. It's right here, all right?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Just going to the Institute.
All right, Rocco. Rocco.
Yo, I'm looking for my son. Where the fuck he at? He's at the Institute?
Institute.
Got it. Anyway.
All right, so I'm at the part of the Institute. There you go.
Perfect.
Thank you. And I did pick up Deus Ex today. And
Smart.
yeah, I picked up Dos Equis. I was a little worried that I was going to hear a little bit of
Yeah, Deus Ex. It's a great game.
Yeah, I was a little worried to hear some Ultimate Warrior theme music in Best Buy, but I'm good, man. So I'll probably start playing that after we wrap up tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's it. So
You say you picked it up on PS4?
what?
You picked up Deus Ex on PS4?
I did.
Such a pony.
I am. You know?
But Enrique, aren't most of your friends on Xbox Live?
Yes, most of my friends on Xbox
And
Live.
hence the reason why he got a single-player game on PlayStation, so that he doesn't get bugged by everybody inviting him when he logs on.
Because I want to be at the end to it, you know.
But Enrique, most of your friends are on Xbox Live, and you got this single-player game. So, like, what the fuck?
Well, you guys want to know why I picked up Deus Ex on the PlayStation?
Because you're a fucking rebel.
Yes.
And you do what you want.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I picked it up because it's native 1080p on the PlayStation 4.
There you go.
No, I mean, hey, you know what?
All right. Enough of this console war bullshit.
No, it's not. Wait. No, first of all, it's not. I have options, and I exercise my options as a consumer.
There you go.
But seriously though, like if that was your decision-making process that you went through when deciding whether you were going to get that on Xbox or PlayStation, was the only deciding factor the 1080p 60 FPS? Like, was that it?
Here's the thing. So it was. So let's just say if I had just had the Xbox console, right, I would have been just as happy getting Deus Ex and the Xbox One, but I have a PlayStation 4, and one is 900p native resolution, the other one is 1080p native. So I went with 1080p, and there's a couple other things too that went into it. Like, I don't always like, even if there's a PlayStation 4 game that's native 1080p and 900 on the Xbox One, other things will factor into my decision. Like, if I really want to play the game using the Xbox One controller, which I like better than the DualShock, then I'll get the Xbox One version, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but for this one, it was a couple of things. It was the 1080p. From what I understand, the PlayStation 4 version has faster loading times, and it doesn't suffer as much from frame rate drops, from what I understand. But so all those things kind of factored. And then the other thing was I was okay playing with the DualShock for this game.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, and there's no right or wrong answer to this, but basically what I've just encapsulated from your response to that is that your general understanding is that you are going to get a visually better experience out of the PS4 version than the Xbox One version.
Yeah, like the Intuit.
Into it.
And you know what the most important factor is, Enrique?
What's that?
You're a grown ass man. You buy whatever the fuck
Yeah,
you want.
exactly. And let me tell you, other grown ass men should wear what other grown ass men are
And
buying.
there's nothing wrong
Exactly.
with buying something on the PlayStation or the Xbox because you think that you're going to get a graphically better experience out of it,
Right.
versus, based on information that you've had. You've gone and done your research, you've listened to people who've played it, you've made an educated opinion about whether you're going to have a better experience than one on the other. And if you are lucky enough, like most of us, to be in a position where you do own both consoles and you're spending the same $59.99 on the same game and the controller isn't going to be a factor, then you would be stupid in a single player experience not to go for the one that is going to be graphically more amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is
Ain't
true.
nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I tell you, if I had the PC, I would have probably got the PC version.
Hashtag Enrique has been validated.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the whole thing about being neutral. Is it's not that you don't have an opinion on things or you don't feel passionate about something. It just means, honestly, I don't give a shit what you want to play on as long as you're playing and you're happy.
That's right.
Yeah, just support
Unfortunately, not everybody feels that way. That's really sad.
Yeah, a lot of people
it's about supporting the industry, though. That's the thing. Like, we all have preferences.
Right.
No one says, we get that. We all have tastes and opinions and preferences on, gaming consoles and other things that we like. But, at the end of the day, it's like the one thing that we all have in common is that we're gamers, and that's it.
Do you think that maybe there is a degree of social acceptance that comes into this kind of mentality as well? People just wanting to have a group of people who they feel they're a part of, that they're affiliated with, that accept them as being a part of their brethren or whatever it might be.
Yes.
So I honestly believe that the social acceptance, particularly for a lot of people, as we know, there have been a lot of studies done that show that people who are naturally introverted in social experiences tend to play a lot more video games. And so when it comes to actually getting out of that shell and getting onto social media and putting yourself out there, even if you are under a persona and anonymous, there also, I guess, in that situation has to be a certain element of them that wants to feel like they are accepted and a part of something, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's exactly it, but
Who the fuck is Poodle Corp?
Who cares? Core.
They're the people taking down Pokemon Go.
It's Core. It's Core.
Oh, it's Core. Yes, it is Core.
You don't put the P on the end of CORP when you say
Poodle
that.
No, man, you need to go back to school. Go back to
I thought it was Hey, man, I thought it was corporation, man.
Corp. I really miss my time in the Marine Corps. It's like saying, hey, we need to jump across this chasm.
All right. So to Bella's point, though, Bella, I think you're right, though. And Eric, you and I have talked about this. Many nights on the yacht. Oh, that didn't sound right. So
in our onesies.
Yeah, in our onesies, drinking 1738.
And your dark soils.
Your banana hammocks.
Yeah, and our banana hammocks. No, I think, Bella, that's a great point, because there's definitely a social component to this where there's probably people that want to be or have felt for the first time socially accepted by others where they've been rejected in the past because they've been introverted, or maybe they weren't part of the cool crowd or whatever, or part of the clique.
I don't know. I was always part of the cool crowd. I was never.
Yeah, me too. I just.
Everybody doesn't have those guns you've got, right? So
that's true.
Some people actually have to rely on other
things. Not everybody's got that going for them.
That's right. And I think when we sit here and we do criticize these people who are a part of what we call the cancer in the gaming community, we also need to understand that there's a lot more layers behind it than what meets the eye. And yes, at the end of the day, regardless of whether you are an introvert or whether you don't have many friends or whether this is the first time that you felt like you're socially accepted or whatever, as a human being, whether you're 12 years old, 15 years old, or 50 years old, you know what's right and you know what's wrong. So yeah, we do need to be understanding that there is a lot of psychology that goes behind the scenes, and we can't always just pigeonhole everybody as being an ignorant ingrate. We need to understand that there is a lot more that is going on in the minds of these people. But at the end of the day, if you are one of these people who is in that situation where you feel like you're being accepted into a group and you have all these friends that would be there and fight behind you if you needed them, if you actually lived in the same country as them, because you only know them on social media, That doesn't matter. Like, they're digital friends, and digital friends are great. There's no taking away from how much of a strong friendship you can have with people who you meet digitally, but that doesn't mean that absolves you from being able to apply right and wrong.
That's
Hold
a great
on.
point.
By digital friends, do you mean like people you meet like on Nioh?
Like you, John, you're my digital friend.
Well, I don't know. I just want to make sure we're not talking like the Matrix.
No, you're my digital friend. Eric's
Okay,
my
cool.
digital friend. B Money is, and so is Enrique.
I mean, B Money, yeah.
B-Money's a Bulls fan, so I don't know B-Money.
Yes.
Oh, you're a Bulls fan, dude?
Of course.
Oh, you are my digital friend.
Yes.
And digital friend or not, you say something sideways, I'll see you on the grocery aisle.
That's fine. Oh, shit.
Oh,
Meet
shit.
me near the lettuce, motherfucker.
I'll throw your ass on these cucumbers.
Yeah, right? Don't go in that bread out.
Anyway, long story short being
Yeah.
that there is a lot of
Well said,
lot of social issues that we all have. All of us. We all have issues in one regard or another, apart from John, because apparently he's perfect. Am I correct?
I will say this. My and after this we'll get back to the video game talk, I promise. But my son started his first day of 3rd grade today. He's 8 years old, and they made everybody fill out a questionnaire, and at the bottom it says, "What do you like most about yourself?" And I fucking shit you not, he wrote, "I am so handsome."
Oh, that is really adorable.
Nice.
He's gonna be a ladies' man.
Oh,
Ladies, man.
no, seriously. Like this kid is like, he's gonna be a fucking heartbreaker when he grows up.
That is adorable.
There you go. Here, right here.
Nice.
But yeah, there's a lot
Good
of
stuff,
there's a
good
lot
stuff.
of different things that go on, you know. And he is very cute.
Is that a handsome lad?
Yep.
Anyway.
So yeah, I guess we just need to learn to be a little bit more accepting of even the people who we feel are being a negative influence on the community, because it's easy to do exactly what they do and hate back. It's harder to just be accepting of the fact that they probably need a good hug.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So let's get back to video games, because we digressed a little bit and got to like a sociology, psychology. I can't even talk. Anyhow,
We're not
No, please. What was that, Enrique? We got into a what?
No more talking about our emotions and feelings.
Yeah, exactly. We got into a psychological and sociological conversation about.
Sorry, gentlemen. You know what I'm like. Can you invite me knowing it nonetheless?
No.
We love having you here, brother.
No, but like you said, we could do a whole podcast just on that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Let's
And maybe
move
we should
on.
one day. Maybe we should one day, because a lot of this stuff needs to be addressed. People run rampant in the community, and the community as a whole gets blamed for a few bad eggs, or what we perceive to be bad eggs. And like Bella said, maybe they just need a hug or a chokehold. Either way.
or just stumped out.
Or get laid, but
That
So how
too.
about that PlayStation 4?
Yeah, you read my
Yeah.
mind.
Or
I was
Slim.
going to transition. So we have PlayStation 4 Slim news. A leak came out this week, and so what's it? So I actually Tony Polanco, who he's actually never been on this show, but I got to get him on. I've been on NLG with him, with Mike Mullis, and he tweeted out that Sony was handing out some copyright infringements or something with YouTube podcasters that were showing images of the PlayStation 4
So
Slim.
ridiculous.
Yeah. So I was kind of surprised, because we always hear about Nintendo doing stuff like that. And I wasn't, I didn't think Sony
But
would
why
do that.
would you go ahead and do that, though? It's Sony. Like, aren't you just validating what they're showing by doing that? Like, by acknowledging it, aren't you saying, oh, well, yeah, you guys, you caught us red-handed?
Yeah.
I don't understand the mentality. I mean, because I get that the unit was probably stolen. I understand that, and I understand that whoever did it ruined Sony's big reveal.
Mm-hmm.
I understand they're pissed off about that, but the YouTube, like your fans on YouTube had nothing to do with that. So don't punish them. That's just fucking ridiculous.
Right.
If anything, they're promoting it. I mean, at this point, It's out. Everyone knows about it, regardless of whether or not it's being shown. We all know it. We all seen it. I mean, it is what it is,
Look, I don't know. I'm actually of a different opinion about that entirely, and I believe that particular Slim was purposely put out in the wild, and that they're purposely going after these YouTubers to get the attention so that people go looking for the images and go looking for the videos, and they're creating themselves a whole marketing scheme which they have to pay nothing for, that's getting them massive amounts of exposure and
That's an interesting theory.
amazing amount of hype. And they're not paying anything for it. Instead of paying like $1 billion for marketing, they're going to have to pay like maybe $2 million when it comes to the day for, you know, the TV ads and all of that, because everybody's already seen what it is. They already know what it does. They've watched the video of it booting up and loading games. We've seen it. We know. And it was free.
That's
That's
nice.
Point, yeah.
Free advertising. Can't beat that.
No, there's no bad publicity.
Exactly.
It's like every single developer the week before E3 that goes, oh my god, that got leaked. I didn't get those screenshots and put them on a disc and accidentally throw that in the garbage bin labeled exclusive screenshots for my game being revealed at E3. That never happened. Yeah, bullshit. We all know everybody capitalizes on these gaming events, and Sony is doing the same thing.
Well,
They'd be stupid not to. Look,
Sony's done a masterful job of marketing this console.
They really have, yeah.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
Even though they should all be in prison.
Money.
And as we know, apparently Sony's broke, so of course they need free marketing, right?
They're real broke, yeah.
They're so broke, they're paying off the media.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. Bias media. So the PS4 Slim leaks, and from what we can tell, it's basically a smaller version of the PlayStation 4. And it's not, it doesn't look like it's going to have any 4K streaming to it. It's not a 4K Blu-ray player. It's just bare bones PlayStation 4. Of course, as we talked about fanboys earlier.
People are jumping all over it.
People jumping all over it, and it's crazy because they're comparing it to the Xbox One S, and I said this, and Eric, you and I talked about this. Eric and I talk a lot, by the way, in case you guys
But
don't know.
it is a fair comparison, though, right? Because both of them are coming out at similar times, and there's a bridge console between this gen and next gen. So it is a fair comparison. If you're going to put out a console at within the same 6-month period as the Xbox One S, then regardless of whether it should or shouldn't be done, naturally, the two are going to be squared up against each other, and one is going to be seen to be superior in hardware.
But I think when people take it to that next level, where I made the joke about they should be all thrown in prison. That's kind of the vibe that I get from the way people talk about this. Whenever they talk about Sony, it's like they should be just thrown under the darkest dungeon into the biggest prison. They should be with Jared Fogle.
Ooh, yeah.
For the
That's
stuff
what
that
you want to
they
be.
Who?
I mean, I understand that naturally it's going to be...
Sorry, no. You guys don't have the Subway guy.
Oh, you don't have Subway. You guys don't have Subway in Australia?
We have Subway, but all I know about it is we eat fresh.
There you go.
Those
That's all you need to know.
He's eating fresh, too.
That's all you need to know right now. We'll talk more about it later.
Yeah. No, I understand, though, that
understand.
it's a natural comparison to compare the two consoles. I guess my only thing is we don't know everything about the PlayStation 4 yet. And I would say, if these two things are priced at the same price point, then I think, you can absolutely really make a strong argument that the Xbox One S would add more value if they are at the same price point. My guess, though, is that with this console, again, we don't know, that the Slim is probably going to be a cheaper model for Sony. Maybe $250. I've heard people throw out like $199. I don't see that.
I hate to argue with that, but when you say that it's gonna add be better value, it's gonna be better value if you own a 4K TV and you buy the Xbox One S.
Oh, absolutely,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
There's
additional cost.
then better? Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it then better value if you then have to go out and spend $2,000-$3,000 on a 4K TV to be able to maximize the experience you're getting from your Xbox One S?
No,
When you
and
could
that's
get
what.
a similar experience from your Xbox One,
Right.
just on slightly less graphics, which most people can't even tell the difference between. I don't know.
Right, and I want to piggyback on that, Bella, because a lot of people are touting. Well, it has the 4K the 4K Blu-ray player. I said that's fine, that's great. If you're the person that's into that, that's great to have that. But the general casual consumer is probably not necessarily looking for that first.
Right.
And a lot of people. I mean, it's on record saying that physical Blu-rays, DVDs, those things are on the downtrend as far as purchases. So
most people only buy them during the holiday season when they're
Right.
super cheap anyway.
Right.
So
Now I can totally believe that the PS4 Slim could come in at $200, and I told Enrique for a couple of reasons. If you look at the way it's designed, it's a unibody design. That means production on it isn't as expensive as having multiple pieces. And then you look at some of the things that are rumored to be taken away from it, like the optical drive. It's like almost like they're stripping away the things that a casual person this holiday season who may not have jumped in yet, they still think the price point is a little too high for the way that they play and the way that they game. If they do come in at $199, they're going to kill this holiday season.
I think they release it at $249, but I think holiday promotions will have it at $199.
Right, and they're gonna clean up, because the average consumer, general casual, they don't give a damn what a console looks like. They just look at that price and go, I'm in.
I've been saying that for quite some time. I think the combination, and this is assuming that this is just assuming that the Nioh launches in October, which I think it will, but we don't know that yet. But a $399 Nioh combined with a $250 PS Slim will sell like fucking mad this holiday, and I think the Xbox One, I think the Xbox One Slim is going to sell fucking amazing as well. I think they're going to be close, and which makes me happy. They're both great consoles.
Fake neutral.
Yeah, right. But honestly, like I can see the PlayStation 4 being a bit more successful in November simply because there's more choice. And that's what I think is smart. That's what I think. So like.
Wait, John. When you say more choice, you mean more choice in terms of gaming content?
Well, no. But more choice in terms of what you want for your dollar. And so, for example, everybody's saying, well, the PlayStation fucked up because the PlayStation Slim doesn't have a 4K Blu-ray player. One, I'm not sure we know that yet, but if it doesn't, people are saying, well, the PS2 sold as much as it did, because it was the cheapest DVD player at the time, and we think the Xbox One is going to, or the Slim, the S, whatever you want to call it, is going to do the same. But that's not why people buy. People don't run out and buy, because back when the PS2 came out, like DVD was the new thing, right?
DVD was really
everybody was like, "Holy shit, fucking DVDs! Have you seen these things?"
You got to remember, DVDs were really expensive back then too.
What's that? They were, yeah. And
$40.
But the thing is that so people say 4K that's the buzzword. Everybody's talking about it. But the reality of the situation is right now 4K accounts for 7% of households in the United States. In 2019, that number is projected to be 30%. In my opinion, this goes for both systems. 4K isn't a huge selling point for a lot of people. For the core gaming crowd, yeah, maybe. Guys like us, sure. I don't own a 4K television. I'm not going to buy one. I'm still going to buy a Nioh, and dependent upon the price of the Scorpio, I'll probably buy a Scorpio too, because at the end of the day, both these consoles are going to be a significant power increase from their vanilla counterparts. I just want better visuals. They don't have to be 4K for me. I don't care. I just want them to look better. I want things to run at a higher frame rate. I want things to be in a higher resolution. That's what I care about.
I would almost rather see like 1080p, 60 frames a second on these consoles.
I would too.
4K.
No, I absolutely would too. And that goes for both consoles. But when people say, "Oh, 4K it's going to be this huge selling point for the Xbox One S," no, because one, people aren't running out to fucking buy 4K Blu-ray players en masse. Oh, it's the cheapest 4K Blu-ray player, sure, but nobody buys Blu-ray players anymore for Blu-ray players. Everything's digital these days.
That's right. Look at Netflix. Like, how much content on Netflix is 4K capable? It's like 5%.
And that's not taking anything away from the Xbox One S. I think it's going to sell great. I hope it does. But if you sit there and you say, "Yeah, I know. I hope it fails." But
clickers.
If you sit here and you say, "Well, you should, it's going to sell because it's the cheapest Blu-ray player." No, if it sells more than the PS4, it does it because it's the better system. Period. Well, not even that. Take it a step further. It's all about what appeals to gamers more. Period. And I don't think that 4K is this huge fucking buzzword that is lighting gamers' asses on fire and saying 4K, we got to have 4K. I don't think that's what gamers are saying. I think gamers like us are saying, give us good-looking, fun, intuitive games that are fun to play, that look great, and just give us good games. I don't give a fuck what the game looks like. How about that? Just give me good fucking games, and I think that's what's going to matter.
Yeah, and to expand on what you're saying about that 4K thing, I think a lot of gamers are actually dreading this whole 4K move because people don't want and necessarily don't have thousands of dollars to spend on upgrading TVs to 4K.
Yep.
They just want to be able to continue to enjoy their gaming experience.
Right. And they've already said that where Scorpio is concerned, like if you don't have a 4K TV, you may as well you
yeah,
have
not
to get
even
one.
bother. I mean, you can't even have your Connect. Can't even have you Connect on the Xbox One S. So I think like you were hitting a really important point there, John. Like, not only that, but I think people are actually dreading it. For those of us that don't have the money to go out and enable everything we have to be 4K compatible and 4K TVs, this isn't the direction we wanted things to go so soon.
Right. And I would also argue that I don't think a lot of the people who are screaming the loudest, like on Twitter every day about the power, about the Scorpio, you know, like the thing I thought about was I want to see how many people have alligator arms when the actual price is announced and actually realize that, oh shit, I do have to get a 4K TV. You know, so you better start planning now. Like if you can do the 4K TV now, go ahead and do that. Just be preemptive and be ready for it. Because I know that's what I have to do, you know, with a 2-year-old and everything else. It's like, those aren't my priorities.
His birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday,
yes,
Sarah.
Yes. Thank you. So it's going to be funny when, you know, whatever the price of the Scorpio ends up being, which I don't think it's going to be what people think. I think a lot of people think it's going to be like $400, you know, or it's going to be comparatively priced to where the Xbox One was. And that's not going to be the case. And like I said, they're going to have like T-Rex or alligator arms, like, and tap in their wallet when the check comes. Like, uh-oh.
Yep.
Now I actually have to like pony up, no pun intended, for this thing.
I was waiting for it.
So.
What price do you think it's going to come in at, Don?
$600. Oh, you asked John. I'm sorry.
No, you already said yours, Eric.
I think $600.
Scorpio.
Quick button. Oh, the Scorpio.
6 teraflops.
Okay, so what do I get on the top rope and I sit up for the big teraflop?
100 per flop.
So it's Microsoft, right? They've got a huge war chest. I absolutely can see. So I think here's the thing: is I'm hoping that Microsoft is keenly aware of the fact now that consoles that are priced too expensive don't sell. Consoles at $599 historically don't sell. Look what happened to the PS4, to the PS3. Look what happened to the 3DO. Nobody wants to buy a fucking video game console for $600. I don't care. I don't care how good the fucking game looks. I was gonna make a dirty joke there, but Bella's here.
I'll do it. Dirty joke.
I was gonna say I don't care if the fucking. I don't care if a hand comes out of the screen and gives you a freaking hand job. Like I don't care how good the game looks.
Oh my god.
I don't. Nobody's buying a console for $599. At least not en masse. I think the smart thing for Microsoft to do is to bite the bullet and bring this thing in at $499. I think it'll sell more. And market it right. You know, like
sell more, but you got to remember they have, you know, the Xbox One S now for option. So I mean, you know, they still could sell it at $600. I mean, it wouldn't sell like hotcakes, but
here's the
it would
thing.
sell to that core demographic.
But that's the whole point, Rick, is that it's not supposed to sell hotcakes.
Exactly.
I don't think the Nioh is supposed to sell hotcakes. The vast majority, well, maybe not the vast majority, but the lion's share of PS4 sales, for example, I believe going forward will continue to be vanilla PS4. The Nioh will be marketed at enthusiasts, guys like me, guys like you. You know, I have said it multiple times on this podcast and Super Informed Gamescast, which goes live every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There it is. We haven't heard it, but there it is.
I've said it multiple times on these podcasts. The mass market does not give a shit about visuals. They don't. They just don't. They care about price. They care about affordability, especially during the holiday season.
Yep.
So, like for example, me, I'm going to buy a Nioh. Day one, I'm there. I'll spend $399 or even $499. I don't think it's going to come in at $499, but if it does, I'm going to buy it. You know, Jimmy's mom, 9-year-old Jimmy, she's going to get him a PS4. She's going to look at prices. She's going to say, well, I can spend $399 on the Nioh, or I can spend $250 on the PS4. You know, the vanilla one, and get him 2 games. And that's what she's going to do. Which also means I actually expect us to drive software sales this holiday as well. Not only because we're getting a bunch of great games coming out, but also because people are going to buy systems like, for example, the $299 Xbox One S will outsell the $399 one. Period. Just like the theoretically $250 PlayStation 4 Slim will outsell the Nioh. People are going to take that extra $100-$150 they didn't spend on the more expensive systems, and they're going to buy games with them. So I expect that to drive software sales up as well.
Particularly if they're buying them for gifts.
Yeah.
I personally, I think this holiday is going to be huge for both systems. I think it's going to be huge. I don't see how it's not. I really don't.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, year 3 is usually a year where you start to see the drastic price drop. You see a lot more adoption. So I could definitely agree with that.
And look what happens when a $249 console hits the market. Like Xbox One, they did the damn thing for MPD in August, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or July. Was it July?
July. Yeah.
July, right? Yeah. Because anybody with a brain can go into a store and they see $249 with like some of those bundles had like 4 or 5 games each. That's a steal. That's a ridiculous price. And nobody would say, well, I'm leaving that there. I'm going to hold off for a Slim or a Scorpio. You know, no, I'm rolling. That's perfect. Right. That's exactly what I need. And a mom whose kid has been asking them, okay, my 360 is getting older, you know, this and that, and I really want an Xbox One. The mom or dad that goes to the store and they see that, you can't. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's a perfect holiday gift.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, I think what I would like to see is, so for me, being over here in Australia, when I bought my Xbox One, it cost me $6.99 on day one. Because of the conversion rate, yeah? And so for you to have that day one experience, you are effectively paying for the first 2 months to have that day one experience an additional $50 surcharge, because within 2 months, bundles start to come out that are $50 cheaper and include a game with them. What I would like to see is, instead of these companies rewarding people who wait a couple of months and buy the console and getting it at a cheaper rate, for them to actually just come out with a console at that $50 or $100 cheaper rate to begin with, and instead of people waiting 2 months, because we've set this precedence now where they know if they do wait, they'll save themselves $50 and get a free game. Everybody just goes in, they buy it at the cheaper rate. It doesn't matter whether you buy it day one, 2 months, or 3 months later. You get it for the same price. It's better value for everybody. The amount of sales are still the same. We all get a free game, and everybody's online playing together and happy.
Yep.
I agree.
Anytime you get a lower price point, it's going to drive the software sales. So.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You feel like you're getting a good deal. It's like, oh, I'll pick up one more game, or I'll pick up one more controller, or I'll get a new headset, or whatever the case is.
Absolutely.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we've all been there, buying consoles on the cheap and using that extra money to buy accessories and games. So yeah, absolutely. So real quick, guys, I kind of want to shift gears here and go to the Xbox One Scorpio, since we're talking about the Slim. And B Money, you guys had an interview with Albert Pinello, which was a great interview. Really enjoyed it. Pretty insightful. Al had a lot to say about the Xbox One Scorpio and kind of their vision and where and kind of what they're targeting in terms of visuals. He said the goal here is 4K 60 frames a second. What I thought was interesting, and I think some people may have missed this, is that he did say that they're not mandating 4K and 60 frames a second. That they're leaving it up to the developer to decide what they want to do with those 6 teraflops. Does sound like a wrestling move.
What are you gonna do, brother?
Yeah. So, like Eric says, he's signaling for the teraflop.
Oh my god! He's going for the teraflop! The teraflop!
I think he's signaling for it. This could be. Yes, he's going for the teraflop. Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting because we've talked a lot about this, guys. Like, what does this mean for game development? And we had Christian Allen on last week, and he was talking about how, as an indie developer, small developer, how having all these console iterations is going to impact him as a small developer. But I mean, if they're saying, hey, you know what, we're not mandating, or we're leaving it up to developers, it almost sounds like, at least to me, that what we're going to see in terms of 4K 60 frames a second, at least from the break, are going to be games from Microsoft's first-party studios.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've been mentioning for a while, even when they first announced it, and 4K was the big buzzword, and everyone was talking about that, saying 4K is going to be a new standard for Scorpio. I always felt like that'd be something that first party would take on, and third party would probably hop on it, but just a couple years later, as more consoles were adopted, and people start to look at those numbers and see that Scorpio and Nioh and things like that were being adopted more. So I feel like Microsoft really would have to, make that first step and release, Crackdown 3 or whatever the case may be, at true 4K, 60 frames, and the rest of the games from first party and second party would kind of follow suit. But I don't see, EA or Activision or any of the big publishers kind of mandating that across their game studios.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Eric?
I don't know.
He has no idea. He's like,
No idea.
Idea.
He's drinking 1738. He's distracted.
why the fuck are you asking me? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What the fuck? Okay, fuck you asking me, Enrique? Yeah. So I mean, it's this goes back to what we were saying too about games with better textures, better lighting. 1080p 60 frames a second. I'd like to see some of these developers, these third-party developers, if they don't have to, if it's not mandated to do 4K 60 frames a second, to do 1080p 60 frames a second. I think we'd all benefit. I think majority of gamers would probably benefit more from something like that because we have those TV sets already.
That's what I've been wanting all day long, to be honest with you. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
4K is fine. Okay, we're going to move forward. We're going to move forward eventually. But again, this generation, we have not really seen anyone consistently hit 1080p 60 frames per second.
Shit, we have
not
Battlefield
really
1
possible.
still doing 720p.
Except for Doom.
Except for Doom.
Doom did it.
See,
That's my if Doom can do it,
right?
anybody else do it.
So we're gonna take another leap and say, okay, we're gonna do 4K, 60. But we're not really nailing it down in this generation. It's like let's walk before we run.
Kind of a smaller game though. Like the levels were small.
In what?
In Doom.
No, dude, in Doom the levels are sprawling. They're huge. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only asking. I've never played. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's if they did 1080p 60 frames per second. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, no, dude, Doom is one of the best running games of this generation. Period. One of the best looking too.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think the one thing that I find the most interesting about it is that you see a few developers actually come out and say that their next game would struggle on vanilla PS4 or a vanilla Xbox One.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they actually do with that extra power and what that means as far as the resolution is concerned and the frames per second. So because I know. CD Projekt Red was talking about Cyberpunk in an article, and they were saying, it really was struggling on the standard Xbox One, and they were really happy that Microsoft announced the Scorpio. So we'll have to see what they do with that, because that is, one of the highly anticipated games from such a good developer. So we'll see what they actually do with that power.
Hey, Enrique, it's about the time on a Tuesday night where I gotta get going.
Oh yeah, man. No worries, man.
Yeah, sorry, man.
You gotta go put on your onesies. I get it.
Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah. Sorry for showing up late.
Oh, no worries, man.
You're doing the Lord's work, man. Showing people Nioh.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I really do.
Good.
But I actually cleared the demo while I was talking to you guys.
Nice.
But because I'm an excellent multitasker. So anyway, real quick. We have a new member of the Gamescast, a permanent member, Maddie. Matt's going to join us for his first episode on Thursday. So please come and help us welcome him on board. Yep, and I believe Bella might be joining us as well on Thursday.
Oh, you got my message.
I just saw it. Yeah, like I didn't see it. Sorry, I didn't see it. I was looking at Twitter. I was like, oh shit, Bella sent me a message. But yeah, if you're available, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I'm at home with a busted foot that has to be elevated for a week, so I would enjoy nothing more than to spend that time talking with gamers about games.
Please do. And
Australia is a dangerous place, Bella.
Yeah, it is.
It is, yeah. All the wildlife
Yeah, and when you add my klutziness to the mix, it's...
But at any rate, every Thursday, Super Deformed Gamescast, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got some pretty cool stuff coming up that I won't talk about right here, but very excited for the... So as Square Enix would say, please be excited for future news to come. And gents and lady, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Indeed.
thank you, John.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to either Basement Radio Arcade or Super Deformed Gamescast, I'm going to come to your house and just fuck your shit up. That's it.
You're gonna be talking like what were you saying about Nioh? Was it Nioh or no Deus Ex with the how the characters chat? What was it? They like kung fu talk.
Oh yeah. So basically, I should say, if you don't subscribe to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast and Super Deformed Gamescast, I will come to your place of residence and fight you. Or, as my good friend Christopher Walken might say,
I was waiting for it.
I'm gonna come do things to you, and you're not gonna like it. Or, as the Godfather would say, like as Don Corleone would say in a time like that. All I ask is that you subscribe. That's all I care about. Treat me with a little respect. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to the Enrique's channel. That's all I ask. You sit here.
Dude, that is so good. That is so good.
Oh my God, I've got more, but I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. Although I will say, Bella, I've actually worked with the Australian military in Afghanistan, and I picked up a pretty good Australian accent.
Oh, please, let me hear it.
While I was down there. Now, having said that, I'll probably do it, and Bella's gonna be like, "That's the worst fucking thing I've ever seen." Like, Bella's gonna be like, "This is like AIDS in my ear holes." But
what?
But we're gonna do it anyway. All right, so like I would go out with the Australians, and like the Australians are badasses, right? Like these guys were real, and they always talk about the Taliban. Like I'd be like, hey man, aren't you gonna put like a radar on the roof of the vehicle to check for IEDs? And my boy Piggy, is what we call him, Piggy. He'd be like, yeah, Mike, don't worry about it. And I'm like, all right, my bad, dude. And yeah, and so I don't know. It's probably like the worst Australian accent you ever heard, but
that wasn't too bad, actually.
That's how we talk, But,
well, it is
anyway.
better than my American accent, because my American accent is horrible.
Was that your American accent?
Yeah, it's horrible.
We sound like Southerners.
You
sound
really do. Like a lot of y'all just say a lot of y'all, and it's really annoying.
I actually grew up, like, I'm from Chicago, but I grew up in Georgia, so I can actually do a Georgia accent really good.
Oh, hit us with it.
Because I grew up with it, and got a lot of friends down in Georgia, and did some college down there. Live in Savannah, Georgia, and it was a really good time. Had a lot of fun down there. It was good.
You know what I love about Southerners is that everything just seems to be said real slow. It's like there's time for everything else, but to talk quickly.
Well, that's not exactly true. I know quite a few people from the South who talk real fast. They talk real fast. Can't understand a goddamn word they say.
Yeah, there's some people that talk fast in the South.
Oh,
Anyway,
you should my uncles in Carolina, man. Like, what was that?
Yeah.
Super fast, with the cigarette hanging off the end of their lip.
Anyway, you guys have fun talking about video games.
Later,
All right,
bro.
John.
All right, I'll catch you on Thursday,
Appreciate it.
John.
All right, I'm out.
And, oh, there he is. He's all right. So let's transition to another console because it's. I'm actually getting tired, guys. I'm
Another console or another subject?
another subject. Yes. 'Cause, I got like 5 hours of sleep last night. It's what happens when you have a newborn and 2 other kids and.
It's also what happens when you have like 3 jobs. My heart's bleeding for you. Next subject.
Bella is cold-blooded.
You still gotta get some Dos Equis in tonight, man.
So what?
Right. I think you still gotta get some Dos Equis in, right?
Dude,
Deus Ex. Deus Ex.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some Dos Equis, but I don't think that's gonna happen tonight.
All right, so Enrique, repeat after me. Day.
No,
Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Say day,
I'm not gonna say Deus Ex.
and then us.
Deus
and then
Ex.
X.
X.
Oh my goodness.
Deus. You
Yeah,
know what?
anybody
Let
can
me tell you
learn how to
something.
talk
Let me tell you something.
English.
I'm bilingual. I speak 2 languages fluently, so it fucks with me.
Hillbilly and American is not 2 different languages.
I don't speak hillbilly American. Oh my goodness. So let's move on to the Nintendo NX, shall we? And so
Indeed.
yeah, we have which Bella. I'm glad you actually brought this to my attention because I had no idea.
Who, little old me?
Bella, working, man.
Yeah, Bella's putting in work. So I was like, it's funny because I was like, oh yeah, here are the topics, and she's like, oh, there's other stuff that dropped. I'm like, really? So yeah. So we got some other news, and Bella, would you like to share this news since you were so kind to bring this to my attention about Nintendo NX, its launch titles, and its potentially leaked launch date?
Sure. So basically, look, we need to understand that this comes from an anonymous 4chan source. So, yeah, I mean, it's always a lot of the times you end up finding out that these things are just on point, and then sometimes they're a little convoluted, and then other times they were just full of bullshit. But this particular 4chan source tends to be a little bit on point. They state that the Nintendo Focus, as opposed to the Nintendo NX, will be revealed on September 21st for a March 10th, 2017 release date. So that's pretty exciting to know that we're only, less than a month away from a reveal, or an official reveal, as it would be. A variety of different game, what are they called? Release titles, that's them. A variety of different release titles have also been announced with it, which is, and when I say announced, again, with a grain of salt, but this is apparently what's coming out. So we're going to be looking at a full HD remake of Melee, Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Silver for Virtual Console, F-Zero 2, Super Mario Focus, Animal Crossing Election Year, Pikmin 4, Pokemon Sun, and Moon, which apparently takes advantage of the Focus's native features, and a new IP called Pilio, which is developed by Goodfeel.
Interesting. Well, I think didn't we hear something in terms of I forget who's the Nintendo insider. You guys know what I'm talking about? I forgot her name.
Emily Rogers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, who's
Rogers.
that?
Emily Rogers.
Yeah, didn't she leak some of this before, in terms of games that were coming out for the NX?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So, and then obviously Zelda's going to be launching with this game. So what do you guys think, and gals, ladies, what do you think of if this is true? What do you think of this launch lineup?
Well, it's pretty substantial. I mean, it's decent.
Yes.
I mean, all they needed to do was actually launch with Zelda, so the fact that they're coming out with other games is a bonus, right?
Yeah, and it goes right in line with what Kimishima was saying, that they're holding, they've been delaying and holding back because they want to make sure that the launch lineup is solid. And I can appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have some big time. I mean, Pikmin 4 is huge. Anything Mario is always for me. I mean, Super Smash Brothers. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who doesn't love Mario? It's one of those games. We're just never gonna get old of it, right?
I can play Mario until I die.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Best platformer ever to release. So.
And it's a game that I still happily play to date. And it's not just because there's that nostalgia surrounded by it. It's because it's just still decent, genuine fun. And it's laid back fun. It's the kind of fun where you don't have to think too hard. You can just sit there and play and realize 20 minutes later your cheeks are hurting because you've been smiling and laughing the entire time.
Right.
You know, that's a great point. It's an escape from everything. You know, that doesn't make you smile.
And you don't have to take yourself seriously when you're playing it. You can just be that kid, the inner kid that we all are when it comes to gaming still, regardless of how old we get. The excitement and the amazement and the wonderment that is gaming is never going to change from what captured us the first time that we found that one game where we stared wide-eyed at the TV screen until literally our parents forced us to go to bed. That's never going to change. We're never going to lose that. And Mario is one of those games that encapsulates that.
Mm-hmm.
It's me, Mario.
And it's very interesting that they're supposed to release in early of next year, with it being March, because they usually hold like Mario for like their holiday game. So it would be interesting to see them release Mario with the console in March and then really ramp up, you know, for the holiday season. So.
Hey, don't you guys think that's kind of a weird launch date though for a console, March?
I don't.
I mean,
I don't, because we've gotten past all of the hype of Sony and Microsoft. We've gotten past Call of Duty releases, Battlefield releases. We've gotten through all of that stuff that saturates the market. Everybody spent their money. They've played the release titles. They're into the new year. We've just had the 2 slowest months of the year happen for the 2 biggest consoles.
Well, you know, Alex, the consoles are dying.
Yeah, well, they're clearly not. But, you know, we've just gone through the 2 biggest months where, you know, January and February, shit all comes out. And then, so people are using those 2 months where they're not spending their money on Xbox and PlayStation. They actually know that the next Nintendo is coming out, and they're squirreling that money away. I think it's amazingly intelligent marketing, and like somebody has sat down and put 2 and 2 together and literally come up with 4 this time instead of 97. I think March works brilliantly.
Yep, I totally agree. When we first started talking about the NX and, you know, March was the rumored date, I thought it was genius. You know, you get over the holiday season, everybody spent up their money, and you're going into tax season. So I think it's perfect.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that tax season. You're right. People got a little extra cash in their hand and go out and maybe buy Nintendo NX.
Well, see, down here, I mean, in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, you know, tax season means pit bulls and rims.
And let's face it, though, for like the majority of us and for the majority of the community, a lot of us, if you asked people to put together a list of their top 5 or 10 games of all time, the majority of people are going to have at least Zelda in the top 3 or 4, and in the top 10 is going to be Mario. So the fact that they're bringing back a new iteration of their console that's going to have new installments of those franchises in it, it's going to sell regardless. They could release it the same day of Call of Duty, it's still going to sell. It's not going to sell as well, but it would still sell because it's Zelda.
Right. I mean, like the money said, that was a 2-hour wait to see the game at E3.
That's crazy. It wasn't even to play it, just to see it.
$1,000 on a statue the other day because Link was on the back of the bird and it was like glorious and all this nostalgia and yeah, it's Zelda, and there's just, regardless of whether the game ends up being brilliant or not, which I think we are all a little scared, maybe this many years down the track, that it's like the ask for them to encapsulate that experience that we had back then that still makes us talk about Zelda as fondly and lovingly as we do today, for them to be able to bring that from then to now and still meet the expectations that gamers have, you know, as far as graphic fidelity and frame rate and controller functionality goes. Like, it's a massive, massive ask. So I think a lot of us are a little bit behind the scenes, scared that this is not going to be what we hoped it was. Because there's no, like, for the youth of today, playing the new iteration of Zelda is going to be a new game. It's like playing Quantum Break or whatever new IP might come out. To them, it's a new thing. So they're not going to have those expectations that we have. But for us, this is a legacy of our gaming career. This is a part of our gaming culture. So it's really important that they hit the mark on this.
I have confidence that they will, just from watching people play it at E3. I think the game looks amazing. So I'm not as scared as most people are about it. And anytime they release like any footage of it, like I retweet it, I try to do as much investigation and research, on it as I can. And I think it's going to be a solid game. I think everybody who's hyped about it will be pleasantly surprised, once they actually get their hands on it.
Damn, I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's such a beautiful looking game too.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, and see, this is the other trap that we fall into with early announcements and being told about games that are coming out years before they come out. We have so much time to mull over this in our minds, and so much time for social media to come up with all these different concepts and things they think it should be, and screenshots and leaked videos and this, that, and the other. And it really, like we saw what happened with No Man's Sky because of it, yeah? So I'm concerned for Zelda in that regard too, that we have been set up as a community to have too high an expectation of the experience, as opposed to when we were kids and we first played Zelda and we really didn't know what we were going into apart from what it told us on the cover of the disc or the CD or the cartridge or wherever it was that you played it for your first time. You just went off what you were told from your friends, and you went and bought it, and you played it, and it was its own thing. It was its own entity, and it was an experience that you had from start to finish that was unique to you. Whereas these days, we don't have that anymore. When games come out, we already have these preconceived ideas of what the game's going to be based on experiences that everybody else has already had. I'd really like to go back to the days where we could just avoid all of that and, I don't know, I guess, just be kids again. Just enjoy gaming for gaming instead of it being this entire experience where we feel like we have to psychoanalyze everything that happens and be able to put together a complete breakdown for everybody else who wants to play it after us, because you're no longer allowed to play a game and not give your opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we back in the days we used to buy games based on the box art too.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that. Like,
if the game looked cool, you're like,
yeah.
I bought Blaze Blue based off the box art.
Yeah. That was sometimes backfire on you too, because you always wanted the game to look like the box art. But to piggyback on what Bella's saying, I think Nintendo catches a lot of shit from people. They like to throw that term out, like I grew up on Nintendo, but Nintendo didn't grow up on me. Grow up with me. Sorry. And
1738.
And a lot of times I say that's fine. Like, I don't need Nintendo to match Sony and Xbox or Microsoft, power for power, match for match, because we don't need three consoles that do the same exact thing.
Well, the other thing too, Eric, to that point, like we said last week, like with games like Inside and what was the other game that I was playing recently? Abzu. Yeah, I mean, it's you don't have to have these games that look like The Witcher 3 or Fallout 4. To enjoy them. I mean, you could pick, like games like Journey, and so I mean, these are games that are great. These are games that are enjoyable, and gaming's about entertainment and having fun. So you don't have to have that,
Exactly.
And so I think that's where Nintendo excels, and I think that's the one thing I'm looking forward to with this new console for them.
And Nintendo has that ability.
Never die. Sorry, Eric. No. By all means, please.
No, I was saying Nintendo still has that ability to, like Bella said, you're sitting there playing with a stupid-looking grin on your face, not even realizing it, and the one thing Nintendo, and it doesn't always pan out this way, but the one thing that you kind of know from them is they don't like to ship broken games, and they try to make sure that their games have added value in the way that they play. They don't rely on a tremendous amount on DLC. They're getting more into that. They still hold on to some traditional core values of what gaming has always been about. And sometimes it's been to their detriment, but at the same time, you can't fault them for wanting to hold on to something sacred. And I think, back to the community thing, I think a lot of these people that run around, trying to have a popularity contest and saying whatever they want to say because it gets a rise out of the crowd and they get followers from it, they're willing to sell out that sacredness for that. But Nintendo tends, they like to stick to their guns.
And that's why they will never become irrelevant. There is a certain sense of I guess it's innocence is probably the best word that I could use for it. There's a certain sense of innocence and wonderment, and like you don't ever feel when you play games, particularly when we were kids on Nintendo, you never felt like there was this chip on their shoulder or some sort of agenda behind the games that were coming out. They were games that were specifically designed to give us enjoyment and to make us happy and to keep us coming back because we enjoyed the time that we were investing into it. It wasn't that we felt we had to come back because I have to get that achievement and I simply have to get a high KDR and I'm not going to allow this game to beat me because, X, Y, and Z. You get back and you continue to play those games because they were just so much fun.
Yep.
And that's where we built onto what we are today as gamers, from that foundation. And
Totally agree.
that is why Nintendo will never become irrelevant, because they are part of our foundation as gamers.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to be the foundation of more gamers today. Like, I have 3 kids, so I've always owned pretty much every console. But as they were growing up, like my son, he started playing with the 360 because he was born around that time, and Gears was really popular. So he would always just try to pick up the controller and play. But I would always just put like a Wii U or like a Wii controller in his hand.
Yeah.
I bought my kids a Wii U as a Christmas present when it first released, and I thought it was very important for them to kind of build those their gaming habits off of Nintendo's foundation, because I think they have some of the most interesting games that you can play as a young child, and they kind of build what gamers kind of need as far as growing up in the gaming scene, and some of the just basic fundamentals of learning how to play a shooter, or learning how to play a platforming game, or learning how to your first RPG. Nintendo kind of walked you through all of those core genres and allowed us to play like all these amazing games that we're playing today. So, I think if you're a gamer or a parent of someone who wants to game, I think introducing them to Nintendo and what they're all about and the games that they have been known for is very important.
100.
I totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? On that note, let's go ahead and wrap up the podcast because it's 11:07 here. I gotta get to bed.
Is getting tired and it's morning.
No, the thing is, I could go on another hour talking about Nintendo and talking about, the kind of the magic they create in gaming and Institute. And some of the the early experiences that I had gaming. I mean, the Nintendo Entertainment System is still to this day my favorite game console ever.
It's just because you're in love with that wood paneling.
No, no, this is because I played so many of the franchises that we love today got their start on that console. Metal Gear, Ninja Gaiden, Zelda, Metroid, Mario. Yeah, it was. I to this day I just haven't had that. I haven't had an experience like that since the NES, and so a lot of it's nostalgia for me. But it's great. There were so many great memories of sitting in my room playing Dragon Warrior for hours. That game kicked my ass.
Yeah.
Dragon Warrior kicked my ass, but I loved it.
Yeah, when they had that Nintendo Power Archive up for that short period before they pulled it down, I was actually reading like the original article on that game, which was crazy. But before we go, all I wanted to say on that too was, while a lot of people know who Master Chief is, they know who Nathan Drake is, or whoever you want to call it, none of those characters can hold a candle to most of Nintendo's IP. I mean, they're universal. They're up on the level with Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny. Everybody knows Mario.
Yeah,
Well,
you can walk down the street and ask anybody, who's Mario? Who's Super Mario? And they can tell you who it is.
Exactly.
Well, you guys saw the end of
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, Donkey
Exactly,
Kong.
Bella.
I don't know if you guys saw the end of the Rio Olympics, the closing ceremony. And the Olympics in 2020 are going to be in Tokyo, Japan. And sure enough, there was a guy there from Japan with a Mario hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already know they're going to have a bundle of fun with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see Master Chief or Nathan Drake or Crash Bandicoot running around the Rio Olympics.
Yeah. And don't forget, we got the Tokyo Game Show coming up in October, is it?
October, yeah.
And, if we, like this supposed leak said, we're looking at October information around the week of Tokyo Game Show, so it all fits into place.
Absolutely, it does.
That could actually be huge now that you bring that up. If they do truly announce it September, towards the end of September.
Well, it makes sense, right? To do it at the Tokyo Game Show?
Yeah, that could be huge.
Mm-hmm.
And now that Xbox is also having their own presence at the Tokyo Game Show set by last year's precedents, then, this is going to be an interesting dynamic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yep. So, well, excuse me. I had to take a sip of my beer before I go to bed. I can't waste the last drop. So, Bella, thank you again, by the way, for joining us tonight. I hope your ankle feels better. That's a shitty injury to have. I've had that injury when I was younger.
It's a lot of fun. I would have rather it turned out it was actually broken. So if it was actually broken, they could have just splintered it, put a boot on it, and I would have been able to walk around. But severe sprains and ligament damage, not so much.
Yeah, and you can't walk around because you could damage it more. So I hope you feel better.
Yeah, man, that sucks.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Thank you kindly.
Take lots of painkillers, drink whiskey.
You know what? I hate that I have to sit in front of my Xbox with my foot on the coffee table all day. It sucks.
It's awful.
It's horrible.
Well,
I don't know how I'm coping.
It's a good. Well, thank you again, Bella. We definitely appreciate having you on. This is great. It's been a pleasure having you on back-to-back weeks too. So thank you again.
It's a real rarity, and I really appreciate you gentlemen having me here. It's always a pleasure talking to all of you. Mwah.
Absolutely. Positive voice of the community, Bella. Keep doing your thing at Real Game Media. That's where I go get my news now. I love it. So you guys are doing great stuff. So
thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Keep it up. So B Money, man, thank you again, man, as always. Eric, thank you again, as always. Love having you guys on as co-host. Appreciate the time that you guys set aside every Tuesday night to join Basement Radio. And big shout out to John, Mr. Negative, again for joining us. And we'll be back on again Tuesday night. Real quick, B Money, are you guys have anything else coming up on SICK? Any other big interviews or anything like that?
There's something in the pipeline, but I won't mention it just yet. So we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah. Big Money, I think I saw a picture of you with Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenberg at E3. It's almost like you guys were just chatting. I forget where I saw that.
Yeah, we hung out with them for a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's a cool experience. It's great opportunity. Yeah.
That pipeline, though, you're going to love it and hate it at the same time because it's just always full. And it doesn't seem to move quick enough.
That's what she said.
Everybody knows what I mean.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So we'll look out for that announcement. And hey, if anyone listening, if you guys haven't checked out the interview they had with Al Pernello, definitely check that out. Great interview. And Other than that, we'll be back next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Basement Radio Arcade podcast. If you haven't give us a sub, please check us out. Subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Tell your friends about us. We're house neutral.
You have just tuned in to another B-Rap podcast.
I gotta get you to record that.
Yeah, we do need to. Brought to you by Xbox One onesies. You know what?
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Brought to you by Dark Soils.
Dark Soils. By the way, for those who are watching, don't forget to check out our sister podcast, the Super Deformed Gamescast, which goes live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays. They just had who did they have on last week? Michael Hubert from Easy Allies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's right, Billy. You were on that podcast, so yeah. So keep an eye out. Sounds like they're going to have some other announcements coming up, and we're also working on some other industry guests. So we'll have some announcements coming up shortly. And if you haven't already done so, check out our podcast with Ryan McCaffrey of IGN, and we had David Jaffe, creator of Gears of War, Twisted Metal, and then last week we had Christian Allen, who's done work on Halo Reach, Ghost Recon, and is currently working on a game called Epsilon for his studio Cerulean. So definitely check. And Hotel Blind, which Bella's actually done some work on too, I might add. So
I did a thing or two.
So all right, cool. Well, thank you again for everyone watching. Again, give us a like, subscribe, leave comments in the comment section below. No fanboy shit, because yeah, we just don't do that.
You go on the grocery aisle, do that.
Oh my God, Eric, man.
I don't care, man. I'm 6'7", bro. I don't care.
It's like, Eric's, oh my goodness, Eric's like,
the power of anonymity.
Eric knocking people out in the bread out, man.
He's hitting it with baguettes in the head.
Before we do wrap up, though, for anybody who has stayed around to the end of the podcast, we actually have a little bit of a giveaway to do.
Ooh.
Can employees of BRAP be a part of the giveaway?
Can you what?
Are employees of Basement Radio Arcade Podcast eligible?
No.
Just joking. I'm just kidding.
No. Stop.
All right.
So, for anybody in the chat section that can tell me the name of the first protagonist from the Assassin's Creed franchise in the chat section now, you will win a Assassin's Creed Unity code for Xbox One.
Nice.
That's a great deal.
I need to sign in with my other Gmail account.
I'm logging out right now.
Yeah. No one's responding.
Because it's actually one of those things. You're just like, is it Ezio? Is it like you really don't think back? Everybody's just on Google right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I'll leave that to you to get back to me, Enrique, when somebody comes back and lets us know what the answer is, and I'll send you the code so you can forward it on to them.
All right. Oh, I'm. Yeah. Wow. No one's replied yet. Come on, Nels Coney.
Was that too difficult a question?
I think people are Googling the question.
Repeat the question one more time, Bella.
Yeah, repeat it one more time.
All right. So the name of the main protagonist from the original Assassin's Creed game.
Guys, it's so easy, guys. Come on.
Well, I thought it was easy, but I mean, I guess I've been following the franchise since it first came out.
I know it, Bella can, but I already have.
I guarantee you, there's Google coming. Guys, we're gonna give you guys another like 2 minutes to answer the question. Then we'll just have to.
Yeah, if it gets to the point where nobody can. There we are.
Nels Coney. Desmond.
Nope.
Somebody's answering.
Yeah, nope. Nels Coney said Desmond. Nope.
Sorry,
no, not it. You're close. Come on, Nels.
Come on, Nels Coney.
Come on, Roach.
On Roach. Where's Roach?
No, that's Assassin's Creed 2.
You're thinking Brotherhood right now, yeah.
We're gonna go through all the Assassin's Creed games.
He's like, Connor.
Oh dear. So anyway, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure as always being part of the podcast. It's probably going to be a while before I'll be able to join again. So it was really nice to be able to do back-to-back podcasts with you on the last fortnight.
Always great. Always great to have you on, Bells.
Yes, it is.
Oh, this is sad, guys. Come on. Free game.
Oh my god.
I don't think it's so much that it's a free game. I think it's oh wow.
There we go.
Okay.
Bells is the only one playing.
He's Googling. He listed. He's Googling it.
He put the whole name in there.
like you know, it's come from like a Google copy and paste because it's got all the appropriate.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know he Googled it because it has all the appropriate characters.
Good job.
Regardless of whether you Googled or not, you got it. It's yours.
All right, Nels Cody.
Congratulations, Nels.
Congratulations, Nels Cody. What?
No, that's a dude. I mean, that's like playing basketball by yourself. Like no one knows, you know.
He answered again. Yes, Nels Cody. So Nels Cody, I will DM you the code.
Yeah, I'll send it to Enrique and he can pass it forward to you.
Did people not like Unity that much? No one wanted to play.
What's this?
I will say Unity was jacked up, man.
wait, Nels Cody because I read the whole wiki. All right, well, Nels, congratulations to our big winner, Nels Cody, and Bella. Thank you for that giveaway. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
You're most welcome. You don't go over to somebody else's house for dinner and rock up empty-handed, so yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And we got to get you, Bella. We got to figure something out. We got to get you back on, like I don't know, like once a month, twice a month, something. We got to figure something out.
Well, yeah, as we previously discussed, if you can do sort of a Friday night, Saturday type of thing once a month, then I can definitely join you. But apart from that, given the whole opposite side of the globe thing, and I'm half a day in the future to you, it does create a little bit of a complication when it comes to coordinating these things.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll figure something out. I'll talk to the rest of the panel. We'll try to figure something out. So thank you again, and remember, gamers, to game on, but more importantly, have fun doing so, because that's what gaming is all about. We'll see you all next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.